Welcome everyone, this is Cal Jardy, founder of Fearless Transformation. We help entrepreneurs to become more productive so that they'll be able to serve more people and make more money. So, I got something awesome for you today, and in this video, what you're going to learn is productivity plan. Productivity plan. And sure, we've heard a lot of productivity plans out there. And why is it important to have a productivity plan? Well, first, what is that productivity plan? This productivity plan is your CPR. It's your CPR anytime you feel that you're off track, anytime that you feel that you're not clear on what the outcome we want, anytime that you feel you are not producing what you really want to be producing that day. That's your CPR, and that's how you'll be able to get out of your head and get focused on what's really important to you. So, and another reason why is it important to use this CPR is so that you'll be able to accomplish more in your day. So you'll be able to be clear when you walk into a negotiation, for example. You want to know what your outcome is so that you know when you accomplish it. Many times we walk into a situation and we are hoping that things will work out for our part of it and the other person's part of it as well. I mean, isn't that the purpose of negotiation? Is both of us, we walk away with what's really important to us. So you can also use it in a meeting, for example. When you walk into a meeting, it's very important to know what you want to accomplish from that meeting. Many times we walk into that meeting with an agenda. And many times this agenda, when we get so fixated to that agenda, that means we could lose the purpose of that meeting. How many times we've been in a meeting where you have a specific agenda and now the conversation starts going somewhere else? And you have two choices. It's either you go back to the agenda and you table whatever these concerns from your group to another meeting, which means now they are in their head because that specific concern that they have is not being addressed. Or you could go to that concern and you will forget and you would not accomplish the agenda that you have in place. So it's important to be able to be flexible. As leaders, it's important to be flexible on how to be able to get what we want and help other people get what we want too. And this tool, CPR, will be able to help you to do that. Right? So what does CPR stands for? CPR stands for, C stands for context, P stands for purpose, and R stands for results. Okay? Context, purpose, results. Now, how are we going to use this tool is we're going to use it in the opposite way. We are going to start with results, and then we're going to go to purpose, and then we're going to create the context. And I'm going to guide you through this in this process. So that's how we're going to do it. Okay? And in the end, we're going to finish it with where else could you use that? And how else you could use that tool. Ready? All right, let's go. So we start with the results. You walk into a meeting and you first want to set the outcome. You want to start with the end in mind. You know, all gurus, productivity gurus, leaders, you know, Dr. Stephen Covey, the 7th Habit, you know, they say always start with the end in mind. Because once we know what the outcome is, now there's something magical about it that now our brain is focused. Where focus goes, energy flows. So when we're focused on the outcome we want to accomplish that specific day, now all the intention, our way of being, it's all coincided towards that goal. Versus lots of us, we wake up in the morning and, you know, we would just go to work and we'll see what's gonna come our way so we could, you know, tackle it. Or we check our email inbox and then we'll start responding to emails and we will start tackling what comes our way. Like, you know, one of my mentors, Brendan Bouchard, he says, when you start with an email first in the morning, you are serving other people's agenda. So that's why it's so important to be clear on what's the outcome you want to get on a daily basis. And this tool, it is nice, quick, and it will help you to do that. So, the way I use it is this. I use it the night before. Every night before I go to bed, I will just quickly jot down my CPR. Whether I'm in a hotel, leading a seminar the next day, I want to create what's the outcome that I want for the next day, or I'm home and I'm working in my studio, I want to know what videos I'm going to be creating, or I am meeting with a coaching client and I want to be clear on how I'm going to be able to serve that client to the most of my ability, or I'm leading a seminar and I want to know, I want to be clear on what the results that I want to help my audience to get. So even when you want to go to a social setting or a networking event, what are the results that you're committed to? And that's what distinguishes the follower from the leader. That's what's going to distinguish you from, the average, is that it's being intentional. Being intentional. So, we're starting with the results. Now here's the thing. There is a distinction between results and to-do list or tasks. There are results and there's tasks. This is not tasks. This is not what are you going to do. For example, I'm going to call this client, or I'm going to, send that email, or I'm going to, cut that grass in my backyard. Right? This is not to-do list. This is a result. What is the outcome that you want to accomplish that specific day? So the night before, you think about it. What are the results you want to accomplish for the next day? Quickly, you jot them down. Okay, so I want to, for example, in my case, I can give you an example, is I want to shoot a video so I can send to my mailing list and I can give value and I can serve my mailing list. Another result that I wanted to create for today is my wife and I be able to go to a social event to hang out with some friends later this evening. Another result that I wanted is that my friend Jason, is my videographer. Me and him would be able to, just talk and be able to, get to see what's going on in his life and, kind of like, build more on our relationship, our friendship. So, it could be as simple as that, right? So, but it's important to be clear on what the results you want, and that's what this purpose is for. So, you jot down the results, meaning the outcome, what you want, okay? And the next step up is you want to write the purpose. The purpose means why. Why you want these results. Why do you want these results? If you have enough why, the how is easy. And I give credit where the credit is due, and I've heard this many times, and it makes a lot of sense for me, is understanding the big why. Why do we want this result? How that's going to impact the area of our life. Which area of our life that we're committed to. So, there are, 6 or 7 areas of your life that you want to start thinking how you're going to, transform, how you're going to, build. You got finances, for example. You got career and job. You got your health and well-being and fitness. You got area that's called relationships. And when I mean relationships, it could be romantic relationships, or it could be family, it could be friends, relationships. And you got area where it's, for example, fun and play. That is an area of your life that sometimes we forget to reward ourselves. We forget to go and play and have fun. And I'm guilty of that. So, and now that I have the CPR in place, now I start focusing on these areas. So, I invite you to do the same thing too. Another area, the sixth area you might want to think about is also spirituality. How you are going to, get connected to, whatever that you believe in. You creator, if you believe in a creator, whether it's, yourself, or it's, the consciousness, whatever, something that gets you to feel more connected in a deeper level for who you are as a human being. Okay? So I want you to start thinking and jot down these areas of your life on a daily basis and start thinking, what is that one area that you want to work on? What is that one area that you want to focus on? Again, there's just, very basic metaphor that, you've probably heard before, and that is, if you have a magnifier and you have a piece of paper and you put it in the sun, the magnifier will burn that piece of paper. Whereas if you don't put a magnifier and you put just a piece of paper in the sun, nothing will happen to that piece of paper. So that's why it's important to set our intentions and be focused, laser focused on what is it that you want to accomplish for that specific day. Day by day, week by week, month by month, it's important to have these CPRs. And I read something in a book, The New Psychology of Achievement, for Brian Tracy. And he talks about that when you jot down or when you think about your goals the night before you go to bed, here's what happens. Before you go to sleep, our brain goes into theta waves, which is a very relaxing state for the brain, which means it is more, and it's very open, and it's very relaxed, and it helps you to manifest the things that you're thinking about. And now, how would that work? You jot down, the results, and you go through the purpose and the context, and now you go to sleep. And when you go to sleep, and before you go to sleep, before you actually, pass out, right? You visualize these results being accomplished. Just, visualize these results being accomplished, whether it's a check that you're waiting for, whether it's a call that you've been waiting for, or whether it's a coaching, client that you have, or it could be a client that wants to buy your product or service. You can see his, email, popping up on your screen saying, yes, I would like to, move forward with this deal. Whatever that you're committed to, whatever results that you want in your life, start visualizing it before you go to bed. I want you to pay attention because that's very, very important. And this research has been done to a lot of very successful people, and they use the power of visualization. Now, please don't take me wrong. If you've read the book The Secret or watched the movie The Secret, which I have, it's one of the first resources that I invested in when I first started my journey in transformation. The book is inspiring. It gets you to see hope, and you see light at the end of the tunnel. However, by all means, visualizing what you want doesn't bring it into reality, and that is key. Only action creates results. Like my mentor Tony Robbins says, only action creates results, and that's it. Action, regardless of how you feel about it, how tired you are, how lethargic you may be feeling. It's just taking that action. And this tool, once you have it written down, there's something magical happens when you are putting it on paper. Now it's becoming more of a reality. Now it's just becoming in the world of manifestation, if it's followed with actions that are going to create these results. Okay? And that will go into your to-do list, the tasks. But these results will get you to see the outcome. And that's what gets you to be laser focused on what you want. So, with the purpose, you want to get present of which area of your life that these results are serving. And sometimes it could be mixed. For example, you could say, in my case, shooting a video that's serving the purpose of my career, okay, which is not just my business, and that is my purpose in life. I've had the privilege to, be leading seminars for thousands and thousands of people all over the country and internationally as well. And I gotta tell you, I'm so blessed to have that opportunity to be serving, these people and making a difference in their life. For me, the biggest, smile that puts on my face is when I receive an email or I receive a Facebook post from, one of the participants that I had in my classes. And they just tell me how they were able to implement the learning into their life and get the results, and how that helped them to move their life towards where they want. And that gives me the opportunity to do that in such a way that I feel that I'm serving my purpose. And I gotta tell you, if you feel at any time in your life that you walk out of bed in the morning, or you go to work and you are not excited, or you are not passionate, or you are not purposeful in what you're doing, life is not worth living like that. That means you are working to, you are living to work versus working to live. Okay, there's a big distinction right there. Okay, so what if there is a way that you can do something that you love and you're passionate about, and at the same time you can get paid for it? Wouldn't that be great? I was reading the book called From Good to Great, and they talk about the 3 circles that makes great companies and organizations and people to be great, to be not just good, to be great. And that these circles are, first, what is that one thing that you could do best than anybody else in the world? Okay? And when I say best than anybody else in the world, it doesn't have to be like literally best than anybody in the world, but you know that you can be the best than anybody in the world. Not if you would be, but you can. You have the potential of being the best in the world. So that's the first circle. The second circle is what? Passion. The passion. Are you passionate about that thing that you want, that you can do the best in the world? You can be a great programmer, but are you passionate about programming? You know, you could be a great salesperson, but are you passionate about it? You can be a great mechanic, but are you passionate about it? Okay? Passion is the driving force to your results. The drive is the engine that drives the results, and that is passion. Okay, which is the purpose. The purpose is having part of it having to be passionate about it. Okay, and the third circle is what drives your economic engine, which means what are the specific things in your business, in your career, in your life that are generating the most income. So as entrepreneurs, most of the time we want to do everything. We want to, for example, in my case, I wrote a book, and then I jumped from the book, before going and publishing it, and now I jumped into leading seminars. And then I started, moving towards, doing certification. And then I started doing, videos. So I started jumping from one thing to another. Anything that promises results, I jump on it. And then coaching clients. And then I got to a place where I'm just, trying many things, and I'm not getting the most out of one thing at a time. Again, I want to be practicing what I'm preaching, and that is focus on one thing at a time. One thing at a time. So I invite you to do the same thing too. So in this case, for example, let's say you got a result on let's say coaching clients. And in my case, coaching clients, it is something that I've been privileged to be doing for the past 5 years now. And that is one of the major thing that I do, that it generates, it helps the economic engine to keep moving forward. Okay, so what is it for you? Okay, for me also is leading seminars. It is one of the major things that keeps the engine moving. What is it for you? Okay, so start thinking about that and focus on the only things that are generating results that you're passionate about, and you know that you could be the #1 in the world doing that. So those are the 3 circles. I invite you to implement them. And then you got the context. So after you get the purpose, now you got the context. What is the context? Context is, who do you got to be to create these results? Who do you gotta be? Who are you that is needed to create these results? And many times, people, for example, we walk into a situation, we want these results, and sometimes, for example, we want to be this, pedal to the metal, just moving forward, blasting through, speed, taking action, moving forward all the way. It's all or nothing. That's the context. Another context would be, for example, a bamboo stick. Bamboo stick meaning it's flexible. When the wind is hard, it doesn't break. It's flexible. It goes with the wind. Sometimes it's important to be flexible in certain situations, especially in negotiation when there's conflict. So it's important to be, that. Context, another example would be, for example, being Mother Teresa at times. You want to be a context, your context is you are Mother Teresa in a certain situation where you want to be empathetic with people that are going through rough times, that you want to contribute to them, okay? So these are many contexts out there that you can take place. Many times I want to say, I am number one. And that is a context that I go to my seminar with, that I am number one, meaning anything that would make a difference to my audience, I'm going to apply it because I'm number one. I go back to the videos, I watch them, what can I do better? What was missing, I ask my audience, please give me feedback. I go through the feedback and I take them to the heart, because when every complaint that I hear, or every criticism, if you may say, there's gold there for me. And that's what's going to take me up to the next level. Okay? And this is always a place of never-ending growth. And for me, you watching this video, there's a lot of room for improvement. And you know what? Perfection is not something that I am going to be committed to. I'm going to be committed to service. How to be able to serve you better. So I invite you to take that context on, that being a server, when we are serving people, it is Newton's second law, or third law. I'm a graduate engineer. I forgot which law is it, but it says that energy is not created or destroyed. It's only transferred. So what we give, it is what we shall receive. And there's another say that my mentor Brendan Bouchard says that back in the times where people got so accustomed to ask and you shall receive, and he says that now it is give and you shall receive. Once we give, now the law of the universe, the law of physics, it makes sense. When you are giving your energy out there, helping people, serving people, making a difference, then the energy is gonna come back in whatever shape or form. We don't know how. Okay? And that's something that really resonates to me, and I hope that it will resonate with you too. Okay? So to recap what we talked about, this is a tool that I invite you to use before you go to a meeting, before you go to bed every night, before you go to a negotiation, before you go to a conflict resolution. Just be clear on this tool, on what are you committed to, what do you want, starting with the results. What are the results that you want? Jot them down. Purpose, why do you want these results? And with the purpose, I invite you to talk about or point out what happens when you do and what happens when you don't. See, basic psychology, there are twin forces that motivate people, and that is some people are motivated by moving away from pain, and some people are motivated by moving towards pleasure. And most of the time, people would do much more to move away from pain than move towards pleasure. Tony Robbins put a great metaphor, and that is, what would you do? Would you protect $100 from someone stealing it from you, or would you go out there and make $100? Most likely you would protect the $100 from somebody stealing it from you rather than going out to make $100. Okay? So moving away from the pain of someone would steal $100 from me, it will get me to be more in action, motivate me to be more in action than going out there and making an extra $100. So understand this, the psychology of what would happen when you do and what would happen if you don't. And that will get you present on what the purpose is. These are the two questions you want to ask. I'm going to write them down for you here. Do and don't. Okay? And this one, with the C, finally you got the context. The context is the umbrella of who you're being to accomplish these results. Who you're being. Okay? I'm the best, or it could be I'm number one, or I am, this bamboo stick like we talked about. Right? So you can pick a context that would best serve you. Sometimes you gotta be a tough love person that you want to help a friend out, and you gotta just tell them how it is and not sugarcoat it. Right? And that's called tough love. So I'm a tough love coach sometimes to my clients, and that they appreciate that because I gotta be honest with them, and I gotta see a blind spot that they're doing, and I'm able to point that out and help them see it, and this way they can come up with their own action plan around it. Right? So what is your context? So I invite you today, right now, is after this video, just jot them down. For daily basis, put a discipline in place where every night before you go to bed, write down 3 results, just 3 results for the next day. 3 results. Okay? And why would you want these results? What's the purpose? Which area out of the 6 areas we talked about that these results would serve? And why would that be important? Okay? And then the context. Who do you got to be in order for you to accomplish these results? Sometimes, you want to be, let's say, a kid. Curious. You just want to ask questions. You want to walk into a seminar, for example. You want to be this child that you're curious. What if this? What if that? Okay? That's a context. So take on whatever context that will best serve you in order to create these results. Now here's the thing. When you go out in the next day and you're the meeting and you start seeing that the results, you're not accomplishing these results, you're not accomplishing these results, the very next step you do is you change your purpose. Your purpose, it could be not the right purpose. It's not for the right reason you're seeking these results. And once you change your purpose, you'll realize that you start seeing these results. And if that doesn't work, then you're going to look into changing your context, who you're being around what you're doing, whether or not it's generating these results. So I hope that served you. I hope that you take that in place and put it in place and put a discipline for the next 30 days, not 20 days. Science has shown that 21 days, or statistics have shown that 21 days is when you can start establishing a habit. I invite you to take on just that, the CPR. Do it for the next 30 days so we can really embed it and make it strong for the next 30 days so you can make it a habit. And don't take anything else that is new. Don't get overwhelmed and boggled down. Many times, when we set, goals, for example, or New Year's resolution, mostly when we're drunk, and the next week in January 1st, January 2nd, here we are, we're going to work, and now we're seeing everybody just jogging on the road, people jogging. You go to the gym, the gyms are packed. You go to your fridge, you dump the cheesecake, and you go to Whole Foods and you buy, healthy food, and you're excited. You go, get the membership for the gym, and you say you want to, go to sleep early, and you want to start, going out more often, being, be sociable. You take on so many things, and then what happens? We start taking these actions the first week. The second week, we start, getting some challenges, and we start, missing some of them. By the third week, fourth week, what happens? We usually go back to our old way of being, haven't you? Unless you do one thing at a time. I want you to pay attention. One thing at a time. There's 2 parts of the brain. You got you got your unconscious and you got your conscious. Yes. So the conscious is consider this metaphor Tony Alessandro talks about, which is great, and he talks about that the rider and the horse. Your unconscious is your horse, and the rider is your conscious. The unconscious, which is your horse, wants to go on a trail that is used to, is accustomed to. The role of the horse, which is your unconscious, is to protect you and keep you alive and for your survival. Which means that if you are watching this video right now, that is, you are well, which means that anything that is new or different is going to be automatically resisted by the horse. Which really means that it's not going to help you take on something new that is uncomfortable. And anytime that you're uncomfortable, cheer up, my friends, because you are growing. Comfort is the death of growth. I give credit where the credit is due. I've heard this before. And only outside of our comfort zone, that's where growth takes place. So, I want you to recall a time of your life when you accomplished something that you're proud about. Go ahead and take a moment right now. And as you do, ask yourself, were you comfortable in that process to accomplish what you accomplished? My guess is no, weren't you? Why? Because you stretched yourself. You stepped outside of your comfort zone to accomplish that. Right? Sometimes you may say, well, that's just not me. Let's say if you want to become more social and you want to go out and meet people and you want to say hello and raise your voice and you want to maintain eye contact, you want to have a smile on your face. But you say, this is just not me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Like one of my other mentors, Dr. Whitsmall, says that's good news. That's not you. Because you has gotten you where you are today. Which means that unless you be not you, you're going to keep getting the same results that you've been getting in the past. So, fake it until you become it. Like Dr. Amy Cuddy puts it. Fake it until you become it. Not fake it until you make it. Fake it until you become that person. So stretch yourself outside your comfort zone. Take on one discipline at a time for the next 30 days and put it in place and make it a habit. And in the process, you're going to be uncomfortable. Your horse is going to be resisting that. It's like, oh, do I have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning? I want to be cuddling with, whoever you cuddle with. Right? Or you're just like, so cozy and warm. You don't want to get out 6 o'clock in the morning. And when you do it, that's when you start building that habit. You do it for 30 days and it becomes a habit. You won't even start thinking about it much. And that's what's going to distinguish you from the average. And that's what's going to distinguish the average from the extraordinary. Right? The rider, you're building the rider to be stronger than the horse when you do that. And make sure, anytime that you step outside your comfort zone and you take on a new action, a new discipline in place, reward yourself. Reward yourself. The horse likes to be rewarded. The only language the horse understands is emotions. Emotions. Remember a time, I don't know if you've been to any traumatic experience in the past. I know I have. And for example, it could be a car accident, or it could be a fight, or it could be, a shooting or something. And for whatever reason, you can still remember it. Like I still remember in 2011 when the Twin Towers fell. And I was heading to college, was going to class that morning. And I was watching CNN, I'm having my bag, and I still remember exactly where was I standing, and the bag, and I remember, even like the class that I was taking that morning, right, which was communication, and that memory is always going to stay there because it was just such a traumatic impact that my horse woke up. And emotions wakes up your horse, your unconscious, whether it's negative or positive. So that's why when you reward your horse, now you are putting that habit in place for the long term. Okay? So I hope that makes sense to you. Behavior rewarded equals behavior repeated. Behavior rewarded, behavior repeated. Remember that. I hope that served you. I hope that you take on that tool for the next 30 days. And please comment on this video. Tell me how it's going with you. Tell me what's working, what's not working. I love to hear from you so I can be able to serve you better, so I can, learn better, and I can, research more, and I can find tools and ways that it will make a difference to you. So please comment on this video, like it, share it, and spread the message where you can always be the best you can be, always be fearless, and always be growing. This is Cal Jurdy. Until next video, cheers.